on this weird quest of cubes.
Well, and number one show is Walking Dead, so really we're fostering that idea in everyone.
Right, and there you go. And so that's the thing, is like, so yeah, in a Walking Dead-like society, could you survive? And no, I'd be dead on day one. I mean, day zombie day one, I go, poof, I'm gone. And I'd be great food. Let's put on a show. I have no marketable skills. Like, hey guys, I know we're depressed, and your mom just tried to eat you. Let's put on a show. Let's eat Brently. He's sinewy, but he'll get us by. So I don't know. I don't think let's put on a show. I got an idea. Like, I have no actual practical transferable skills. I mean, I'm a man who exists in hotels, and I'm very funny, and I can make a show happen, and I can bring people together and do cool artistic things. But really, it's like a Brently versus Wild. I get the bends in laser tag. I mean, like, I'll go crazy. Like, in laser tag, I'll kill everybody, and basically in myself.
The team don't care. Yeah.
I don't care. I'm killing everyone. I'm that guy in that movie who freaks out at war.
It might work out in a zombie apocalypse, though.
It might work out. Shoot them in the brains if you want to live.
We're going to find out that's not actually how you kill them.
Yeah.
It's the opposite way.
Yeah, man.
The left leg.
I was very excited because Walking Dead had a They Might Be Giants song in it the other day. The nerd in me was very happy about that.
Good for They Might Be Giants.
That's good for They Might Be Giants. Still going strong. But that was it's a great show, and yet a terrifying show. I'm not sure how we related The Walking Dead to Minecraft. Maybe the end of Minecraft.
Solitude.
Oh, Solitude, yeah. So that's the thing, is like, I think the hardest thing for people to do is, and we use technology to connect with each other, but it often makes us feel more distant and anxious. It certainly makes me feel anxious. As someone who has benefited from social media and uses it quite a bit, I know that I personally have to take a break. Mm-hmm. And I have to shut down. I'll take Facebook off and deactivate, and then it's like, so it's like when you leave Manhattan after a while.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, Manhattan just happened. Okay, all right, let's do it again. Let's go back to Manhattan again.
I've actually always believed that the energy of Manhattan had to do with the physical bodies in a single space.
Yeah, man.
Like, in the way that mob mentality makes people do crazy things, I think the fact that so many human beings are physically next to each other in this small space, literally, like, just the vibrations makes the energy. Because I'm from Boston, and I would take the bus into New York, and it was like, as soon as you get into the Bronx, like, the bus comes in from the top, so it's like you come into the Bronx, and like all of a sudden you're like, I feel it. Legitimately, you feel it, because it's like you've just gotten near a lot of energy sources, and they're all other human beings, and it makes you feel super intense, which is funny that you mention it with reference to technology, because I was actually just thinking the other day, like, I wonder when we're old what the energy of the phones and the technology being around us will have done to our bodies.
That's a great question. As someone who, I sleep with probably three, there's a computer and there's a phone and maybe a tablet in bed with me, like an orgy of flesh and technology. We were Videodrome.
I was like, this is our studio, but this room pales in comparison to what my home looks like.
Yeah, exactly. And yet we're surrounded by, and it's like I can put the sticker on the phone, but that's not really doing anything.
Yeah, it's just fake.
We have no idea until artists. At some point in a couple of years, when we've started naming children the names of memes and things like that, our brains will just start to slide out of our noses. It's going to happen like the zombie thing. That's how it's going to start. What's the matter with you? I don't know. And we're just going to fall apart. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not that cynical, but I don't know. I know that I have. That I had to take a break from it to appreciate it and to use it properly. And I'm not I'm certainly no Luddite, and I use technology. It's helped me. It's furthered things I want to do artistically. But I've made peace with my weirdo self. I just turned 40, so it's like, it's a whole other, thank you very much. And like, I was the 14, 15-year-old kid doing comedy. And now it's like, okay, who the hell am I, like, at 40? Mm. And, you can go one of two ways. You can, in a lot of comics, it's really interesting to watch comedy and watch comedians age, because it's difficult. And most comedians that I liked when I was a kid, or that were like my dad's kind of era, they all got, with a few exceptions, Mel Brooks and people like that, a lot of them got really bitter and conservative. And Steve Allen was so cool and discovered Lenny Bruce and all these people. And then he was like, why do comedians curse? And once you start saying that, you're kind of off the list for it. You're just on the other side.
Yeah.
You just are. I wrote Gregory Peck. When we did that musical, Hooray for Gregory Peck's Ass, we wrote him a letter. And we were all teenagers, and we said, hey, we wrote this musical about your ass, and it's about how the government stole your ass, and then they trained it to be the ultimate military weapon. They released it in Vietnam, and it killed everyone, and then it went AWOL. It was a cover-up. And so we sent him a bumper sticker and a T-shirt. And he wrote back, and the guy, he was still alive at the time, obviously, which would have been amazing if he was dead and wrote. But he said, he goes, oh, all other honors and accolades pale in comparison to your show in Austin. Like, it's the sophistment of my later years. And you could hear the eye roll. And it was like, ooh, he's sarcastic. Ooh, I love you so much. And he said, my friend Jack Benny said about comedy and gave us some advice. And that was it. But it was just like, you could be cool. Though. It was adorable.
Yeah.
And someone like Louis C.K. who... Man, that's straight up middle age. That is ugly, gross middle age, and all of it's blech, and he nails it, and he's aging so well, and I think we'll see that more and more as those sort of 90s alt comics, Patton Oswalt and Margaret Cho, and those people like age into their 40s and 50s, and that's just what's happening. And you either cling to your pretty youth, but if you were never pretty to begin with, it's great. And so it's really interesting to see who ages well. So, I go through these periods of my life, especially in comedy, where I like to reassess kind of like what still holds true now that held true when I first started. And you allow yourselves to kind of knock down some walls and renovate the house a little bit and see what foundation still is. And this is all the building analogies I know. I'm going to build a boot.
No, I like it because I appreciate that. In fact, thank you for even telling me your age. I'm 38, so it's nice to know that we're the same.
40.
That we're
looking forward to it. I like my 30s. My 30s were really fun.
They were a good time, huh?
They were a good time. Well, my 20s, I was married. I had kids very early. My wife was 9 years older than me, and so I had kids at like 23, 24. And so my 20s were raising kids. And then they still are, but... we split time, but so by the time I get to my 30s, it was like, I don't think you shouldn't be allowed to get married in your 20s. You don't know. It's not that you don't know anything, because you're plenty smart, but you don't know you, and you don't know what you like and what you... I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase that, like, of course you know, but I didn't. I mean, let me just put it on me. Yeah. I sure didn't know. I sure didn't know what I liked and didn't like, and I sure couldn't have articulated it, and there's still things I'm screwing up, and I'm trying, but I think that's the thing. You just gotta reassess at all times.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is for me was in my 20s. I thought I knew what I wanted. I thought I knew what I liked, and I may have, but now a lot of things are different. Like everything.
And I was very conscious of age when I was, and so I don't want to frame it in the light of like, oh, I'm old and I know, because I don't. But it's that this is the amount of time I have lived. I'm 40 years old. And when I was 19 or 18 and 17, man, I was so self-conscious about my age doing improv and doing stand-up that I made sure that my references were on top and I knew what was going on and I could reference all these old comics and things. And so I'll never, and I meet a lot of people that are in they're teenagers and they're starting off, and I love it, man. There was a girl in Stand Up Empire, she was 11, and she's killing it. Saffron Herndon killed it. And so just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you're smarter than someone who isn't. It's just that it's difficult to imagine someone like that constraining yourself to a marriage or something like that when how the hell can you go live and screw up?
I have a theory of cycles that we actually live in 18-year cycles. So like you'd be in the middle of your third, right? So it's like from 0 to 18, we're with our parents. We like do all the things that our parents want us to do, or we reject what our parents say, but we're still within those constraints of under 18, a child, that kind of thing. And then from 18 to 36, you are the first chance you have to be an adult, to be yourself, and to find what it is that you are interested in and doing, which is why sometimes when I meet 20-year-olds and I say similar things where it's like, you don't know, but it's not that they don't know, it's that it's the beginning of a new cycle of them being allowed to have their own opinions.
Yeah.
without their parents.
I was very opinionated because I would never knock anyone for their age because I think most 19-year-olds are brilliant and they're very smart.
Sure.
Smarter than I am. It's just that...
But almost in the same way that small children understand things that we don't understand.
Right.
You meet a 1-year-old and that person is so pure. Same with a 19-year-old. They've just allowed themselves to have an opinion, and then finally there they are, and they get to be who they are for the first time, and it's beautiful. And
that's the hardest thing of all. I mean, I think even when you have, I've had opportunities in relationships to just express what I need to express, and you still don't take those chances because for whatever walls you build up and whatever wax you got to drift through. So I mean, it's a never ending process, forever, never, never.
Right, which is again why my theory of cycles is like then you get to be somebody new, because when I turned 36, I felt like I had finished a journey of some kind. I felt like I had gotten to the next level, and I was like, okay, now I'm doing different things. And I said to my husband, I need to figure out what the next 18 years of my life is. And so I'm 38. I'm pregnant now, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm a mom.
There we go.
That's my next 18 years. You know what I mean?"
My advice to you is right now go see all the movies you can. Go see all the movies, and then honestly, play your kid the Ramones. And they say that when I was my daughter, it was like baby Beethoven. And
right.
It's Mozart makes your kid smart because of these certain rhythms and these rock and roll rhythms. But the Beatles give you the same vibe, and so do the Ramones. And so you can raise whatever kind of kid you want, and you'll be a really cool mom. And I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the nice thing is that I feel like you said, don't get married until your 30s. In my mind, I think I'm perfect age to be a mom. I had so many crazy personal adventures and things I had to go through that being 38 and finally getting pregnant was like, okay, I'm ready for this now. Like you said, go see movies. I was like, I don't see movies now.
That's true.
I'm a homebody. I'm either at the theater, at the studio, or my house.
True.
Like,
by
that's
the time
what
you're
I do.
ready, that's why like
I'm so ready to just sit in my house and stare at a baby.
Like John Lennon was such a nice dad. Like when he was old, everyone's a nice dad when they're old. So was Merle Haggard. You know what I mean? When I'm 75 years old, I'm ready to settle down. Well, of course you are. You're ready to die. I mean, the men can. It's such a weird thing that men can still have babies when we're so old. And there's a time limit. But I think you at the right time. I was going to go into a weird topic. Aging is weird.
No, aging is weird. I'm totally down for that idea.
I think that it's just like, and I think that, and there's the controversial subject, which I think that women age so much better than men do. Just like it's just for purely aesthetic reasons. Women are better in a billion ways, but like men, we like devolve, and we have this like we get like an extra face on our faces, and it's like I don't know what happens. And I blink, and all these stars that I liked, and these like comedians or Billy Crystal, you name it, or any of these people that I watched when I was a kid, you're like, where'd you get that extra face? And then some people don't. John Stamos doesn't have an extra face, and that's cool. But like most,
he puts a lot of money into nothing.
A lot of cartilage. Things just cartilage grows, and I can't. You like get framed. Yeah, you're right. And so it's like you've got the nice bald beard thing going, which is cool.
Yeah, this is new actually. Yeah.
Is it new?
Yeah, it's like a look, maybe like a year in or something.
I think that works out.
I don't know, 6 months.
I think that bald beard is.
I'm gonna have to do it for the rest of my life.
Is that just what? Is that just? You just gotta do it.
Well, yeah. I started growing the beard because I was lazy, and then I decided, no, I've just got to shave it. Rogaine's not doing anything.
So you tried Rogaine and that didn't work?
Oh, yeah. I tried the pill thing too, Propecia, I think it is.
Oh, yeah?
Propecia's for your penis, isn't it?
No. Propecia's for your hair, you're right.
But it does also cause other side effects, and I don't think those have happened. We'll see. So they're supposed to change all sorts of, like...
Your penis?
Well, no, testosterone levels and things.
Right.
Your penis, there you go.
And then, as a result... So,
your penis is part of that testosterone system.
And you gotta... You gotta choose between your weenus and your hairs, man.
No hairs, then.
That's
cool. I was
cool.
like, focus on the down below, seriously.
Focus on the down below.
I was like, it doesn't matter how much hair you get in your head. Literally, it does not matter at all.
It's interesting, though, but I know a lot of guys are losing their hair and they grow beards, and I think it's a nice aesthetic. Yeah. It's funny because I started to grow a beard, or when I grow, I'm totally gray almost, and it's like I have my mad scientist gray hair, which I have earned every single one. And I'll take it, man. I'm ready for it. Bring it on. I'm going to go full Jim Jarmusch. Let's just do it.
As a kid, I always wanted like the silver wing thing.
Oh, those are cool.
Those look great.
Fantastic Four guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like the George Clooney?
Yeah, just
like right on the
those are
sides?
great.
It's a Polly and Sopranos.
This beard is like I used to have a red beard. I don't know. If
Are you going to dye your beard ever at some point?
Probably not. No.
I know people that do that. It's always like, your beard is not...
No, I think I'm just going to let it do its thing. Pretty lazy
Let
in
it
general.
be who you are. I actually think, now, and John Stamos aside, I think that people who age in their own way are